All right, guys, our guest today is Rich Ross. He is a bassist in the Freddie Jones Band. He's been a friend of mine for a few years. He's a really good dude. We wanted to speak with him simply because he's really into fitness and he works his butt off. I know he's training hard down in Tampa, so we're going to talk a little bit with him, get his background on things that he does specifically to avoid injury when he's on the road and maintain his overall health, because as you know, anybody who's touring and playing, that's a hard life, not only on their body but on their spine as well. So we're going to talk a bit about that. So hey Rich, how you doing?
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Oh man, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. So how's Tampa right now? It's probably a little hotter than Ohio.
Yeah, I was gonna sit outside and talk to you guys under the palm tree, but I was melting, so I had to come inside this beautiful store that I'm in right now.
Yeah, that's probably
the
one
humidity
of those.
will get you down here.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, we're pretty much the same right now, oddly enough, but at night it's still getting into like the 50s. So I mean, whatever. It'll be summer one of these days.
It's beautiful right now in Cleveland, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. So, Rich, I know right now you're working with Freddie Jones Band, and you've been associated with them for a long time, but you've also been involved in so many other bands. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I've been in the music industry for about 30 years, and I've played in a ton of amazing bands. I've toured, I think I've played in every major city in the United States numerous times. Started when I was about 27 years old. I got in a band called The Samples, and I went. Within a matter of a couple weeks, I was on a tour bus and up and down the East Coast, all through the Midwest. It was an amazing experience. Much before I knew anything about eating right. This was in the 90s. But I was kind of a skinny kid then, and at that age, you kind of still get away with eating bad and living a lifestyle on the road.
Right. So what's your touring schedule now?
So what we do now is we have kind of a Nashville touring schedule. So we try to stick with Thursday through Sunday, and it just depends for us. We're all older. We're in our 40s. Guys in the band, we all live in different states. So we fly out to a market and we'll rent, an SUV, and we rent all the gear at the show, which is called Backline. And we just drive and hit the cities we're playing in, and then we fly home, which is actually what I'm doing in a little bit, flying to Atlanta.
Cool.
So
cool. Now you guys are playing in Atlanta tonight then? Or tomorrow night?
No, we'll play tomorrow night. Yeah, we always go in the night before. A couple guys are coming from the West Coast, and then we have a Midwest guy.
So I know the band was really big in the 90s. They kind of hit their big stride in the mid-90s, and some of their sounds are still awesome. It seems like you guys are picking back up and getting a big resurgence.
Yeah, the band actually went away for many years, and the singer Marty, he started the band 30 years ago, living across the street from Wrigley Field. So it's a kind of a Chicago-based band, and we're actually still in full rotation in Chicago on the radio and a lot of places around the country. But Chicago's a great market for us. We just kind of started it back up. It's been about 5 years, and Marty had been working on an album before that, which is the album Never Change. It came out in 2015. And it's a fantastic album, but with the industry the way it is now, it's really hard to get, the new material out there and to the masses like back in the 90s when you have radio and you have, radio was so popular back then. That's CDs and things like that. I mean, that stuff's non-existent really anymore. I mean, no one listens to the radio that much. We're on all the Sirius and all those formats, and we have our YouTube channel, and we're doing all the things that we do, but we're also much older now. So our age group is that's not the formats that a lot of them are really following. It's a younger format. So we're trying to. It's funny because we've been playing some country clubs and stuff for private events, which has been very cool and very interesting. They've been awesome shows.
Yeah, but one of the great things I think about Freddie Jones Band's sound is it's very universal. It's that type of music that's not going to die anytime soon. It's the same stuff in the era of, I like to think of like Dave Matthews Band, where I don't care if you were listening to Dave Matthews 15, 20 years ago or right now, it's still great. It's still phenomenal, and it has that longevity to it. At least that's my opinion. So.
Yeah, Dave, and ironically that you mentioned Dave, some of the early 90s touring was Freddie Jones Band with Dave Matthews opening. And as the tour went on, Dave Matthews kind of picked up steam, and about halfway through the tour, Dave Matthews started headlining the shows, and we all know where he went from there. But that's the way, music goes. And our singer Marty has so many amazing stories about Dave and Hootie, and the list of bands that they toured with is incredible. You're right, that music is really timeless.
Right.
And it seems to be coming back, because I notice a lot more. Even some of the older people that come to the shows are bringing their kids, because their kids grew up hearing their parents' music, and they listen to us. So it's pretty cool.
Great. I know that, like you said, you're doing this Nashville style touring. Are you trying to get your workouts in when you're on the road?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on where we go. And, I manage the band too, so there's a lot of work that comes with it. But I try to get some kind of cardio or get something in at whatever hotel. It's funny, that's the first thing that our singer and I do, is we kind of figure out where the fitness area is. And, I like to go train with other people. So, there's markets around the country we go to. I go to a place in Los Angeles. It's kind of has some group kind of stuff. And I hit Vital in Denver, which is Vinny Lopez Gym. And there's Landau Performance. I try to hit these places and go train with other people, because I like to be pushed. And that's exactly what I do here, in Tampa, is I do the group training. Down here I'm training with a lot of the free agents in the NFL right now, and some of the college kids, and it just pushes you to get better. And honestly, this is the best. I'm in my 40s. It's the best I've ever felt in my life. I mean, it's incredible.
Now, you have some sports background. I know you said you played some football.
Yeah, I bragged to all the guys down there that I was the starting linebacker for the Littleton Leopards 5 years straight. 8 to 13-year-olds.
Excellent.
Yeah, they like that story.
I was also a little leopard. That was my. Eventually I became a big leopard. I did play in high school and stuff, but that was a
that was my dream. That was my dream, to play football and play in the NFL. And my grandfather had, I lost my dad at a young age, and my grandfather had really pushed me as a young man to understand football and do good in school. And he was growing me into a football player, and then that all changed, when he passed away. And as a teenager, my single mom's raising 3 boys, and I found music, and it changed my life.
So you're training right now with down at D1 a lot in Tampa. And
yeah, Powerhouse Gym, which is an amazing gym down here, and the D1 is actually located in the gym. And Taylor Scott's he is the owner of the gym there, and he played in the NFL, and it's fun sharing stories with him about music and hearing all his NFL. The Griffin brothers are in there from Seattle. There's a bunch of great people down there. It's really fun.
It's really cool
and inspiring.
So obviously that's a very functional style of training. Have you trained in other types of styles at all?
Yeah, it's funny because when I first kind of cleaned up and I stopped partying and living that wild life, which was about 8 years ago, I was actually out with some friends of mine in Denver, and they recommended that I go train with this guy, Vinny Lopez. And I went over and started training with him, and I was still kind of partying a little. And I just remember going in there in the first few weeks of training with him was he's an MMA style trainer, and he trains razor blades, and a lot of the MMA guys now that are out fighting, and it changed my life. It was torture for about the first 6 months, but once I became familiar with how it worked, and then I really started embracing the pain, it was great. I've never felt better in my life. But there is that hump that you have to get over when you train that hard. I mean, there was days I didn't ever want to see him again. I love him now, though. So we still stay in contact. Yeah, he's a good guy.
You mentioned pain during training, but there's obviously some level of pain that's associated with playing guitar. And being on the road is part of it, but then the actual positions you end up having to be in, whether it be in the studio or performing at a concert. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think back in the 90s and early 2000s, I had a lot of neck pain and a lot of mid-back pain. And I always was into training and going to the gym and just doing normal workouts, and would try to get into a chiropractor or get into, that was kind of the thing that musicians always wanted to go see the chiropractor on tour, or get a massage therapist to the venue, and that's all great. It's like I said when we were talking before we started this about watering the plant. It's like you can water a plant once, but you really don't see a difference unless you water that thing every day for like 6 weeks. And it's like taking care of your body. One massage isn't going to fix this, or one adjustment. I mean, it takes quite a bit, and that's with training or with taking care of your body, or any pain I've ever had. It's taken numerous treatments to really get it worked out, but I've actually lived pain-free for the past 7-8 years. And I get chiropractic, I get massage every week. I've got a couple of different massage therapists down here. I've got a kid down here that actually works with a lot of the WWE and NFL players. And it's a little bit of a painful experience, but it's the good hurt, I call it.
Nice.
But yeah, I just want to be able to move in my 40s like I did, as a teenager when I was playing football, and continue to do that the rest of my life. So yeah, it's very important to me. We have lots of weird situations where we're in on the road. If you're sleeping on a tour bus, it's extremely uncomfortable, or you're not getting enough sleep, and if you have pain, it all adds up to no good.
Do you take a lot of like nutritional supplements or watch the diet pretty specifically?
I've never been a huge supplement guy. I've never really taken anything, I think, since I was an addict. I mean, I've done proteins and, powders, and I'll have shakes, but I'm one of those guys that, like, I don't want to get sucked into too much believing in a lot of, things that I don't understand. But, that's why I have guys like you and Dave and friends of mine in my life that kind of help me understand what I do need and what's good for me.
Yeah, you mentioned Dave. For context, you're good friends with Dave Batista.
Absolutely, yeah, for many years.
Yeah, so he's a tough one to probably keep up with at times in the gym, I would imagine.
It's funny, Dave is opposite of, I like to work out in the groups. Dave likes to work out alone. So when we go train, he kind of does his own thing, and he'll tease me the whole workout. He said, "Hey, you're gonna start at the end of my workout." He's like, "You gonna work out? Starting?" He's always razzing me and stuff, but he loves to really just get with himself or get with his trainer and just nail it out. Not a lot of talking. I'm the exact opposite. I talk the whole time. I crack jokes, so but
yeah, I've got to train with him a couple times down in Atlanta, actually. So yeah. I know he's a tough cookie. So a big part,
he just gets in his own mode, and some guys are that way.
And that actually brings me to, one of the last questions too. Here's, mindset is such a huge deal when it comes to lifting, training, but it's got to be when you're performing too, whether it be recording or especially on stage. Tell us about the mindset that you have to be in when it comes to being out and performing.
For me, back in the 90s, I had so much anxiety, and it was something I think, growing up, we all have crazy childhoods growing up, and as mine was. I dealt with so much anxiety I could barely get on stage. And when I did, I was shaking so bad, I would forget things and I would be really down on myself. And I think once I started touring with the Samples and got on stage and finally realized, wow, I can't believe I'm here. I did this and gained some confidence. It was all uphill for me then, and my whole mindset is just, I wake up every day focused and grateful for what is about to happen that day. I put myself, in situations around great people that are inspiring. All my friends are, people that inspire me, and that, it's a brotherhood. And that kind of seeing my friends work hard, seeing the people around me work hard, it makes me want to work harder. I always want to be the hardest working guy in the room. That's not always the case, especially when you're training with professionals, but I want to be. And that's how I look at my music too. And, I've enjoyed music the past 8 years more than I ever have in my entire life. It's been so unreal. I am so thankful to be here and doing this. And it gives me the opportunity to go in the afternoon and train with these guys.
Cool.
Have that freedom.
So tell us where everybody can kind of catch you right now, as far as, your Instagram and websites and so forth.
Yeah, so our Facebook's Freddie Jones Band Official, and our website's the same, FreddieJonesBandOfficial.com. And, we've got tour, we're heading all over the country. We're doing the Taste of Colorado. We're playing Seattle, we're playing Bend, Oregon with Big Head Todd. And, we're all over the country. We're all over the map. So we head out, a different part of the country on the weekends and hit it and then go home. And I train during the week. So, yeah, they could follow our Instagram, hit us up on the website. There's some cool videos and stuff. And we're on all the, Apple Music and Spotify and all that stuff.
Sweet. Well, again, thanks so much for being on. I very much appreciate it. We both appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, you too, bud.
All right, man.
Thanks,
Rich.